Yeah, it's unfortunate. I'm not a big fan of the negative campaigning from any side, our side, their side. I just don't see the value in it. It's really, like back in the day, it used to be sticks and stones, and people would say things on the playground. As kids back in the day, like way back before you were born, our parents would tell us, you don't say anything about somebody if it's not nice. Like, you just keep it to yourself. Like saying things out loud meanly at any age, as adults especially, we should all know better. I just don't find the value in bashing somebody. I honestly didn't read it. I just saw the picture. You just told me what it said. I honestly didn't even get past the picture, because at that point I'm just like, okay, this is what I see. I don't really need to read it. It's unfortunate, and I'm sorry that happened to that person. I mean, that's not fun for anybody this day and age with what they're doing to people online anyway. Nobody wants to be dragged into something that they're not involved with. He's not running. So I hope that just resolves itself properly, and just for the benefit of everybody involved.
I think it will.
And hopefully, there won't come any more negative issues to that person, just out of fairness.
Well, and I hope and pray that too. And I really, I think that I have confidence in our legal system working that out, and I believe he's hired a good lawyer and a good legal team, and so I'm confident that it will work itself out. But I think. Moreover, I think that we need to really think about, again, this is a 60-year-old, 12-year member of Congress that sent this sick mail piece out. And he did it before, and he's doing it again. And the piece he sent out about Ben Quayle was frankly not even a fifth as bad as what he sent out about me. This is par for the course. This just, I think, shows everyone who David Schweikert really is. And to your point on negative campaigning, I think there's two types of ways that you can campaign. We have attacked David Schweikert. We put out mail pieces, but we've tried being funny about it, and I have only gone above the belt. I've only talked about his ethics issues, his voting record, the facts, his ineffectiveness as a member of Congress. I've never talked about his personal life, and we could. We're not going to. But that's not how I want it. That to me is an above board campaign. I also tell people what I'm going to do and why I believe I'm going to be a better member of Congress and why I believe I'm more qualified than him right now to serve as a congressperson for our district. His campaign has been below the belt, lies. Everything we say we can back up. Everything he says he can't. And so I think that the voters of our district, we live in a very, very educated district and a very, very high information district. Right. And so I don't think that kind of filth is going to work. I guess David has lost touch with his constituents, because if he was in touch with his constituents, he would know that wouldn't work.
So on a lighter note, at 31-ish years old, you're on the market as a young congressman to be. Did we put that out there?
No. Look, first of all, I'm single, I'm unmarried, which is probably what's fueling Schweikert's rumors. 10 years I spent building a business.
Right. But I mean, at some point, your life will, I'm sure your parents are like, when is your life going to progress and give us grandkids? So you're new to Arizona. So just saying, I'm just lightheartedly, not trying to, match make you on YouTube, but just so people know, who you are, and if they see you around town, you're accessible and you're you're friendly. I'm finding out. So say hello, I suppose, if they see you. And so we'll just put that to bed, because I mean, I appreciate you talking about it and being candid with us. I'm sure other people will too. It'll help dispel some of the rumors they've heard, I've heard. So I thank you for that, and we'll follow it and let us know how that works out in all ways. Sure. But I do also want to talk about, if you are elected into office, where you plan to take your seat in Congress and what you plan to do with your new position. First and foremost, I know the budget is an issue for you. Obviously, you're fiscally responsible. You have a business that's successful, and if a successful business means you're fiscally responsible, I mean, they go hand in hand. Yeah. So that's self-evident. So, our budget's a mess. The country, we all see it dissolve every year, and the spending is out of control now more than ever. We also know that one person can't make the difference in our Congress. It's just not set up like that. So what would you like to attack, and what kind of plan do you have to attack it? Well, so there's a lot of things. There's really three major things that we need to do. And then, for January when we take back the House, and then we need to do it immediately. There's no 1 year, 6 months. It's something we just have to do.
The first thing is, well, yes, I will only be one person. I think there's going to be a very large freshman class, and a very large freshman class of Congress people who are similar to me, who are going there for the right reasons. I'm not going there to enrich myself or go to DC parties. I'm going there to make a difference and save our country. And I think we have more people like me there this year than probably ever before. I believe
you're right, yeah.
And so if I get elected, I plan on being with other like-minded people, building a coalition and a caucus and saying to whoever leadership in Congress is, these are our priorities. These are what we're going to do. These are things we're not going to cave in on. And so the first thing is the budget, as you said. We have to balance our budget. We don't have a choice. I'm sick and tired of every year since I've been a kid. In the 90s they balanced the budget, but every time that I can remember since 2000, we've ran a budget deficit every single year. And we keep talking about the debt. We've never done anything. We've got to do something about it. We don't have time. Our debt to GDP ratio is over 132%. We're $32 trillion in debt. The interest payment alone on our national debt is going to exceed our entire federal budget in a year or two if we don't do something about it. So Rand Paul came out with a plan about 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Right.
It's called it was a 5-year plan. It involves cutting some federal spending, which needs to happen. But in 5 years, our budget gets balanced. We did it in the 90s.
So it's doable. We know it's doable.
We did it in the 90s under Newt Gingrich, and Bill Clinton, a Democrat, was in the White House when it happened. And we got to do it again. But Newt Gingrich was a strong speaker. We had a strong coalition. We had strong Republicans who grew a spine and made this happen. And one thing that we might have to do, and this some people may like, some people may not, is we might have to shut the government down for a period of time. When they pass a budget resolution, we might have to say, look, we're not funding the government unless these basic demands are met. I mean, we're not going to be able to ask for 100 things, but 3 basic things. Our economy is number one, and that also goes beyond just balancing our budget. I think we also need to curb inflation.
Right.
And a lot of that...
That's a fact.
And that has been driven by the printing of money, but another big factor that I think that's causing this inflation is the high gas prices. Literally, the second Joe Biden took the oath of office, he shut down multiple pipelines, including the Keystone Pipeline. He stopped renewing oil leases, stopped expanding oil leases. He's an anti-coal president.
Right.
He's really just tried to go after
take the legs out, really, from our country.
Yeah, and we whether we like it or not, our country runs on fossil fuels, oil, natural gas, and coal. And green energy solutions are fine if it's a free market green energy solution. We should not be shoving this Green New Deal agenda down our throats. So we've got to get back to sources of energy that we know work. Under President Trump, we were a net exporter of energy.
Yes.
We're now an importer. And with the right policy, we can change that. And if we lower our gas prices, the price to transport food goes down, the price of fertilizer goes down, all these different prices we have go down, and inflation goes down. But if we keep printing money and buying oil from other places and not producing oil, inflation's only going to go up and things are going to get worse. So we've really got to fix that. So that's a number one priority I have, and I think other people will have too. If they're
now, seeing how our Congress works and the people who are there, many of them will be there if you're in office, what's the pathway to, now Rand Paul, I'm a fan, what's the pathway of getting these senior members to work with freshman people, especially who have businesses, immediately? Like, do you know anyone? Do you have connections? Do you have endorsements that people say, like, oh, gosh, if you get in, let's work on this? Like, is that happening? Or
the sad part about this campaign, this type of campaign, when you're running against an incumbent, is you can't get another incumbent to endorse you. Now I have had Congress people reach out to me. I can't say who they are because they want their identities hidden because they're helping me, and they don't. The concern is there's this, and this is something that needs to stop, to be honest, and I will advocate for it to stop when I get there, if I'm given the privilege by the people of the district, is we've got to end this whole incumbency thing. If you are a bad incumbent, you should not be reelected forever.
It kind of makes sense.
And everyone says, well, the people can vote every 2 years, and that's true. But the problem is when you're an incumbent, you have name ID, the average voter knows who you are,
right.
You have PACs, you have lobbyists, you have other members of Congress that will refuse to endorse or help anyone else. And a lot of times they will come out and they will help that person. And what's been very interesting about this race, if you notice, no one's really coming to Schweikert's aid. They're letting him kind of be on his own. And I think that's because they know that A, he's not a conservative in his voting record. B, they know he's got problems, and he's not been an effective member of Congress. So
so you're not going to take PAC money, you're lobbyists, and you're not going to be friends?
No, I'm not.
You're running clean elections?
Well, clean elections is at the state level. Federal.
Okay,
but what I will say is, if you look at my campaign, I have put over $2 million of my own personal money into this campaign.
Which is allowed.
Which is allowed. You can put as much as you want. I think Donald Trump put, I don't know, 100 million,
more.
Whatever. It was a lot more than me into his presidential campaign. But I've put $2 million of my own money into this campaign. I've raised probably $600,000 from businesses, small businesses, not any PACs, no lobbyists, none of that. It's been all small business owners, a lot of people who I've done business with, and they've seen that we need better people in office. And I think that should show people right there that I'm not going to get bought, I'm not going to get paid for. That's my $2 million I'm putting. I could take that $2 million and buy another house or buy another car or go to Italy or Europe for a year or whatever, or longer. But I'm doing this because I love this country. I've been given a lot and I want to give back. And if we don't get better people in office who are going to stand up and do something about all the things that we're going through right now, we're going to lose our country. That's and it doesn't matter if I make $100 million a year or $1 billion a year. Without it, we have nowhere to go. So
true. And how do people? So I know what you just said. I heard what you said. Sounds believable. Like, I don't know you, but it does sound very believable. When people listen to you, what's the convincing way for people who don't know you, who hear you on TV or a show or a clip? How do you reach them? Like, what can you tell people, random people, voting people, moms and dads? You're 31, they're 55, right? No family, you don't have kids, right?
32, by the way.
32.
Yeah.
You're going to want to back it up when you get to 40. Then you'd be like, I'm 39.
Actually, that was one of the lies Schweikert put on his mailer was that I was 31.
Oh,
so he did me a favor on that.
At that age, it's not a big deal. It's after 50, really, when you start backing it off. But it's very hard to convince people these days. A lot of lies from a lot of people, or maybe not even lies. Maybe like they believe they're saying the truth and they really want to do it like you do. But how do you tell people that this is what you're going to do at 31? I know you have a business, so we've touched on that. But sincerely, in your words, if you want to share just you talking to somebody who listens, like why would they vote for you? Like, and I did stay off the door knocking stuff, you know what I mean? Try to not hit your points.
I'm not.
I won't to stop you, but you know what I mean?
I won't hit the talking points. I'll say it directly. You know, our country's been ruined by career politicians. People that have gone to DC because they want to enrich themselves. And if you look at my campaign and you look at the time, the energy, and the money that I personally put into this campaign, I'm doing this because I love this country and I want to save it. And we need more people like that. People like President Trump. He did this, I believe, because he cared about our country, and look at the results that we got. Right. Career politicians have ruined our country. We need business people like me to save our country and pull us out of the mess that we're in. I've accumulated, at a young age, a very good depth of experience in 10 years. It's not easy to take $1,000 and turn it into a $100 million a year company. And I want to put that experience to work for the people of this congressional district. I'm in this for the right reasons. I put on my website, and I plan to stick by it. If I get elected, I'm donating 100% of my salary to charities in the district.
Thank you for bringing that up.
I'm refusing the congressional pension system. By the way, if David Schweikert gets reelected to one more term, he'll get full pension for the rest of his life, in addition to the $48,000 a year he's already getting from our state legislature in his time as in the county. I'm doing this because I love our country. I want to save it, and I want to sacrifice my time, my energy, and my treasure to try to save our country, and that's why I hope to earn your vote.
That's great. Thank you for sharing that. So speaking of limits, you believe in term limits?
100%.
So if you were elected, would you take one session in office and then exit yourself? Is that sort of what
I think members of Congress
is?
need to be limited. So members of the U.S. House should be limited to 4 2-year terms. That's a total of 8 years. Okay. And members of the Senate should be limited to 2 12-year terms, or 2 6-year terms for a total of 12.
Makes sense.
And then they're out.
Because it does take a little while to ramp up. There's a learning curve.
2 years isn't enough time to make a substantive difference.
Right.
But I think 8 years is, and it's not enough time to where you become a swamp creature.
Sure. I can appreciate that. I think that we all are at the term limits. if you will.
Yeah.
That's a necessity all the way around. And so where can people find you? We're going to put this up in a couple days.
Sure.
The next couple weeks, where can people see you if they want to find you out and about and talk to you personally?
Sure. So we are one of the only congressional campaigns in Arizona to have a congressional office. So we have an office that's located on Shea and on the 101.
94th-ish?
Yeah, 94th and Shea area. And we have a website. The campaign office is there. The campaign phone number is there, nortonforarizona.com. We have someone in the office from 9 to 5 every Monday through Friday, and we also have someone there on the weekends, but that's kind of sporadic as we have volunteers coming through. And another thing that we really have is we have such a great team. I've been very blessed. We have a really good campaign manager. We have 2 full-time campaign staff people, both one of them whom formerly worked on Schweikert's campaign actually, and another who's a grassroots specialist. We have multiple volunteer opportunities. We have yard signs available for people to have those if they want to display them. I'm at the office. I try to make myself very accessible. So if you call in, you can say, hey, I want to speak to Elijah, and they'll try to set up a time for me to call you on the phone, or you can come by. And if I'm there, I always come out and try to meet people. So.
And you're doing a lot of meet and greets. I get some text messages. You're at a coffee shop or a donut shop or a pizza shop.
Yep, we have multiple events all on our website, nortonforarizona.com. There's an events tab. We have there's multiple coffee meet and greets that we're doing. We're trying to also do these things, and we're successfully doing them every once or twice a night. I'm trying to do what are called family town halls, which is where and anyone listening today can sign up to host these on our website. I can come to your house. It used to be in your driveway, but now it's getting really hot, so we don't want to do that anymore. But so somewhere in your, let me in your house, and just for 10, 20 minutes, I'll stand there. I'll talk about the issues. I'll answer any questions. They can be hard questions. They can be just normal questions. And then I leave and give out my card. But it's a great way for voters to get to know who I am. It's, I think, even more effective than door knocking, because a lot of times people aren't home. We're doing that as well, but I think it's the most effective way. And I have done now well over 30 or 40 of them. So and they've all been very successful. So that's something you can sign up for online as well. You go online, you sign up. There's a little link for it, and then my grassroots coordinator Jeff will reach out to you and try to set it up. But another thing that we're really blessed is we have a lot of volunteers. We have over 35 volunteers that are coming into our office and helping us with multiple projects, and that's something that a lot of congressional campaigns don't have. But it just kind of shows you the momentum and the energy that our campaign has, and what people of this district, it shows that they want new leadership and that there's that need here in our district.
Great. Well, thank you for sharing all of that information. Is there anything else you want to add that we haven't covered? Anything you want to say?
I think we covered a lot.
We did cover a lot. I think so too.
There's obviously a lot of issues. And one of the other things on my website is I have a pretty comprehensive issues page. A lot of people just have 4 issues and that's it. I have pretty much every issue that's really, really important right now in our country. So if you go to nortonforarizona.com and you click on the issues page, you can see my specific views on certain policy issues. And again, if you call our campaign office, I'm happy to set up a call or answer any emails about any issues people have.
So nortonforarizona.com. We'll put that up, and later on when we get you guys posted up, we'll add your information on there so people can find you with links. And so I just want to say thank you so much again for your time and coming out here, finding our little spot in the desert, and for just sharing the personal stuff that you did, your business side, and the campaign issues and things surrounding that. So it was a pleasure to meet you and talk with you. And we'll follow you. I mean, we're going to follow him for the next 3 weeks. August 2nd is the primary election here. I'll be working as a poll observer, so come in with your ballot or vote in person, and don't bring anybody else's ballot because I'm going to be reporting if you do. Only 1 per person, I guess 2 if you have a spouse. So let's keep our elections free and fair. Let's get out and vote. Let's research the people in our state who want to represent us here and in Washington, so we know who they are. Let's try to stay away from the gossip and the negative campaign ads, because they're just that. And we just wish you all the best.
Thank you.
And we hope to catch up with you soon.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, definitely. We'll see you in town around, maybe on a little snapshot here or there. So this is American Perspective with Patriot Mom 007, and Elijah Norton was here with me today, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.